Hi there, welcome back to Sapiens Forward. Today I want to talk about what the different types of AI are. People are out there learning about AI perhaps for the first time, or maybe they've been using some of the new AI tools that have been coming out in the last couple of years, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, etc. But they may not know the differences in what the type of AI tools we've been using are and what we have coming down the road and in the future. So first of all, I want to break it down into kind of three general categories. Narrow artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial superintelligence. Now, the neat thing about artificial narrow intelligence is that we've actually been using that for a number of years now. This is considered a weak form of AI, and it's actually really the only one that we have right now. Now, it's typically trained on very large data sets, and it's good at performing cognitive tasks like pattern recognition and decision making. So think in terms of things like navigation systems, like in your Google Maps or Apple Maps or something like that. You can analyze traffic patterns, past patterns, current traffic activity, and predict what is going to be the best route for you to take on that. Or some very basic smart assistants. Think like in Apple Photos on your iPhone, the ability to determine who this person is based on analyzing the face in the pictures. So we have this, and we've had this type of AI for some time now. In the earliest stages of developing machine learning, we've been using this kind of narrow artificial intelligence. And for the most part, that's kind of where we're at with some of these apps that we're using. ChatGPT, Claude, these AI-based apps and tools are certainly a very big leap forward. However, they're still kind of focused on a narrow task at each time, whether that's processing some kind of natural language by you asking a question and it returns some kind of text or language output, or doing some kind of math or code development. By and large, those apps are focusing on one task at a time and trying to solve that. Now, the next level up from this is artificial general intelligence. I'm going to talk briefly about kind of a space in between narrow intelligence and artificial general intelligence, but to frame that, artificial general intelligence, we don't really have that yet. It's hypothetical. It's not yet a reality. It requires even stronger and more complex and powerful computer architectures to make it possible. But the idea is that that level of AI is now approaching the complexity of the human brain. This would be considered a strong AI. It learns, behaves, performs actions like humans will. It's trained on very large data sets, but not limited to necessarily one specific task. It could be capable of adapting to new situations, previous learned concepts, and applying those across various tasks. To give an example, Steve Wozniak, the famous co-founder of Apple, he's given an analogy before that is a very good one, I think. Think of a coffee analogy. Imagine an AGI, artificial intelligence powered machine, could brew coffee in a house that it's not familiar with. It would identify, where the kitchen is at, what are the appliances that are available to do that, and completing that process in each of those different steps without necessarily having a lot of input beforehand on how to do that. It's able to adapt and solve this complex process or problem in an unfamiliar space based on previous context that it has accumulated. That's, really powerful. I think we can all agree that that is something that would be incredible, but we're not there yet. Now there's also the idea of agentic AI, agentic meaning it's based on AI agents, essentially kind of a next level up. I would say it's kind of a middle ground between this narrow AI and artificial general intelligence. Agents operating in kind of a middle ground between that, to step towards AGI, that we're not quite there yet. But the idea is agents, AI agents, will be able to take direct action to complete a task by having access to resources or tooling, similar to how the current kind of narrow AI apps can understand and interpret requests that we're making to it and provide very compelling output. These agent tools will be able to take that a next step forward and take actions like going to a web page and actually doing something on that web page. I think probably one of the most compelling examples of this would be eventually having an AI agent tool that can go ahead and book you airline tickets for a trip by actually going to the website and doing it on your behalf. We've seen examples of this sort of thing at a much more mundane level, perhaps, with demonstrations at like Google conferences of their app being able to go and book a haircut for you by actually making a phone call, conversing with somebody who picks up the phone and booking that appointment. I don't think this is used universally, but I've seen it in place. And you go to try and, let's say, book reservations for a restaurant. Sometimes that capability is offered. It's really neat. So that's somewhere kind of in between the narrow focus, narrow AI, and artificial general intelligence. It's kind of a step along the way. Do we have agentic AI right now? Well, a lot of people are working on it, and people are developing tools pretty rapidly. I think right now, it is the beginning of December in 2024. Some early projections are that we might have advancements to, let's say, OpenAI's ChatGPT tool to have AI agent capabilities in Q1, the first quarter of 2025. We'll see if that actually happens, but that'll be pretty exciting if it does. Well, beyond artificial general intelligence, which we're not there yet, there's artificial superintelligence. Now, this is the highest potential form of AI, surpassing human intelligence and performing and processing and researching at even higher speeds, exponentially higher speeds and efficiencies. Essentially, this would be superior to humans in every possible field of endeavor, intellectually speaking, and would be superior in all of those fields all at once. So if you can imagine, like maybe who was the smartest person at chemistry and the smartest person at finance and the smartest person at understanding literature and history, the superintelligence would be smarter than all of them at those different fields all at once. And that would be pretty incredible, right? When would we get there? Who knows? That could be sooner than we think, but maybe a long way out, depending on certain types of roadblocks or speed bumps, constraints for the continued development of AI. Certainly, every new development in artificial narrow intelligence paves the way for future enhancements and developments to create artificial general intelligence and then ultimately artificial superintelligence. But yeah, we're not there yet. Now, there have been some predictions that artificial general intelligence might be 5-10 years away. But even recently, though, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has made some very, very aggressive estimates on when he thinks artificial general intelligence will be achieved, and he's saying in 2025. That's a pretty aggressive time frame, and it really makes you wonder, like, since he's the CEO of OpenAI, is this more of a marketing and sales kind of thing, kind of building up that brand, keeping attention on OpenAI, or is this kind of a real prediction? I don't want to be cynical about it, but it would be incredible that AGI is here in a year from now and what the possibilities of that could bring. But in my mind, I think there's bound to be some potential economic constraints to continue the rapid pace of development that we've seen in the last year, most notably resources around the availability of GPU chips to build out these massive processing data centers to do the training, and even the energy, the electricity needed to power those data centers. There's a lot of talk going on about, how the necessary data centers to consider this rapid pace of development AI, how they could be built, where would they be built, how would it be powered, who's going to pay for it. We're talking about billions of dollars, to speak, American dollars as an example of the cost to develop and continue that pace. And I think, in my humble opinion, that we're going to see a short slowdown here in a little bit as those types of economic constraints are being sorted out. Um, but as clarity is brought forward to that, we could see that the pace of development could continue to be very, very rapid. So there you go. There's the kind of three main types of AI. Currently, we are working with narrow artificial intelligence, but could we see artificial general intelligence within the next couple of years? We'll see.